Police officers are expected to serve and protect their communities, but sadly, there are many instances of officers abusing their authority and acting illegally and unethically.
Small bag of cocaine, then motioning to another officer before allegedly putting the drugs inside a defendant's wallet.
However, the current development of body cameras has made it possible to unearth alarming facts regarding the actions of some police officers. So, how have the body cams helped us in finding these dirty cops? Let's check out some shocking stories where corrupt police officers were caught using their body cam. Number 5, Daniel HOLTCLAWZ. The first story is of Daniel HOLTCLAWZ, an ex-officer of the Oklahoma City Police who was found guilty of sexually abusing many women while performing his official duties, is the subject of the highly publicized and divisive Daniel HOLTCLAWZ case. Daniel HOLTCLAWZ was charged with sexually abusing 13 black women while doing his job duties between December 2013 and June 2014. Some originally questioned the victims' credibility because they had criminal backgrounds and ranged in age from 17 to 57. Yet, their claims were corroborated by genetic evidence and other corroborating data. One victim, a 57-year-old lady, complained to police that HOLTCLAWZ had forced her to engage in oral sex during a traffic stop, which is how the case got started. HOLTCLAWZ was finally charged with 36 counts, including rape, sexual battery, indecent exposure, and stalking as more victims came forward. Prosecutors used evidence produced during HOLTCLAWZ's trial to prove that he preyed on weak women, frequently picking those with criminal records or drug addictions who would be less likely to be believed if they reported the abuse. Also, they provided DNA proof that connected HOLTCLAWZ to some of the victims, and the main evidence was from some body cam footage. HOLTCLAWZ was found guilty on 18 of the 36 counts, including 4 counts of first-degree rape in December 2015. He received a 263-year prison term. Number 4, Derek Chauvin. The next incident is about the famous George Floyd case, which is a highly publicized and controversial case involving the death of a man named George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. George Floyd, a 46-year-old black male, was detained by Minneapolis police on May 25, 2020, after a convenience store employee called 911 and reported that Mr. Floyd had purchased smokes with a counterfeit $20 note. Floyd was found pinned beneath 3 police officers, lifeless and unconscious, 17 minutes after the first squad car arrived on the scene. So, how did George Floyd die? Once Floyd had been detained, Chauvin, a white policeman, pinned him to the ground by putting his knee on Floyd's neck. Floyd pleaded for his life and kept saying, "I can't breathe," but Chauvin kept his knee on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. Despite cries from onlookers, other officers who were present during the incident did not step in. Widespread indignation and demonstrations were generated by body cam footage of the police officers and video of the incident that was recorded by witnesses and made public. Floyd's cries for aid and final demise, which was deemed a homicide from asphyxiation brought on by neck and back compression, were captured on camera. Second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter were the charges brought against Chauvin. The public carefully followed his trial, and the prosecution offered proof that Chauvin's deeds were directly responsible for Floyd's demise. Floyd's death, according to Chauvin's defense team, was caused by drug usage and underlying medical issues, and Chauvin's use of force was appropriate. Chauvin was found guilty of all allegations against him on April 20, 2021. He was slapped with 25 years for the second-degree murder charge, up to 10 years for the third-degree murder charge, and up to 40 years for the second-degree murder charge, and up to 40 years for the second-degree manslaughter accusation. The more interesting question is, was this an act of racism too? Number 3, Jeff PAYNE. The next story is of a brutal cop named Jeff PAYNE, who was brought to justice because of his body cams. The Jeff PAYNE case, which took place in Salt Lake City, Utah, in July 2017, is an instance of police violence. PAYNE, a Salt Lake City police officer, was seen on camera forcibly taking blood from Alex Wubbles, while she was unconscious, igniting a public outcry and demands for justice. When PAYNE asked Wubbles, a nurse at the University of Utah hospital, to take blood from a patient who had been in a vehicle accident, she accepted. But Wubbles declined, citing hospital rules and the patient's rights as justifications for her decision. In a fit of rage, PAYNE threatened to have Wubbles taken into custody if she disobeyed his commands. Body camera footage of the event was later made available to the public. The video showed PAYNE pulling Wubbles away from the hospital while she screamed for assistance and detaining her against her will. Later, Wubbles was freed without being charged, and PAYNE was suspended pending an investigation. Several demanded PAYNE's firing and changes to police procedures and training as a result of the incident, which led to widespread indignation and condemnation. Also, it raised awareness of the problem of excessive force by police, particularly when used against civilians like healthcare personnel and other non-criminal suspects. In response to the incident, the Salt Lake City Police Department added more patient privacy and use of force training, while the University of Utah Hospital modified its procedures to demand written authorization from patients before blood may be obtained. When PAYNE was ultimately let go from his position as a police officer, he sued the Salt Lake City Police Department, claiming that his dismissal was unfair. In 2020, the case was resolved, and PAYNE was awarded $300,000 in compensation. Number 2, James Boyd. The next case is of police brutality, which resulted in the death of a homeless man. James Boyd, a homeless man who was unauthorizedly camped in the Sandia foothills, was shot by 2 Albuquerque police officers, Dominique Perez and Keith Sandy. Boyd was reportedly clutching 2 knives at the time of the event and had been encircled by police for several hours prior to being shot. Boyd was shot after he appeared to turn away from Sandy and Perez, who had been assigned to the tactical squad that went to the site. Helmet camera footage of the incident was later made available to the public. Boyd was seen turning away from the officers in the video just before he was shot, which sparked a heated debate and widespread criticism of the use of force. Following the shooting, there were demonstrations and appeals for justice, with many members of the local community and civil rights organizations decrying the cops' conduct as disproportionate and unwarranted. The incident raised awareness of the problem of police brutality and the use of force, particularly against underprivileged and at-risk communities. The final incident is of a recent ongoing case of corrupt cops who planted drugs in a man's wallet. As his body camera was recording, a Los Angeles police officer is accused of scooping up a man's wallet off the ground and stuffing a baggie of cocaine inside of it. The bodycam video, which CB's Los Angeles was able to get, shows Ronald Shields being restrained following a hit-and-run accident. Police reported that they found cocaine and a pistol in the trunk of the man's car, but the footage appears to tell a different tale. Shields is searched by Officer Samuel Lee, who is then followed by another cop who goes by the name of Gaxiola picking up a wallet off the ground. So, what other technology should be brought to help the public from being abused by corrupt police officers? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.